She didn't even look at the box. It sat there on the kitchen counter, wrapped in gold paper. I'd spent half an hour smoothing out the wrinkles, making sure the silver bow glinted perfectly under the light. Her eyes barely flicked toward it before she brushed past me. "I'm late, Ethan. Can we talk about this later?" And just like that, she was gone. The soft click of the door had started to sound like punctuation, the quiet period at the end of every sentence in our marriage. I stood there, coffee in hand, staring at the untouched box. Inside was a necklace, simple, elegant, a heart-shaped pendant with her initials engraved. I'd chosen it because she used to love things like that, small gestures, sentimental keepsakes. But somewhere along the way, she'd stopped noticing, stopped caring, stopped wearing anything that came from me. That was the first time I realized something had shifted. When she came home that night, the box was still there, unopened. "I thought you'd at least look at it," I said softly. Samantha sighed, kicking off her heels. "Ethan, I told you I had a crazy day. Can we not do this right now?" "Do what?" "Expect a reaction from my wife." She rubbed her temples. "It's just a gift. Why are you making it such a big deal?" "Because it's from me, Sam." Her eyes softened for half a second, then hardened again. "You're being dramatic." And that was it. She went upstairs. I stayed behind, staring at that gold box until the silence felt heavy enough to crush me. The weeks that followed were hollow. Samantha started coming home later and later, always with an excuse. Meetings, friends, traffic. I tried not to be the husband, the suspicious one. But when the same pattern keeps repeating, even trust starts to feel like denial in disguise. Her phone never left her side. Conversations turned mechanical. Her laughter, once bright and spontaneous, now sounded rehearsed. One night, I woke at 2 a.m. and saw her sitting on the balcony, her face lit by the glow of her phone. She was smiling, the kind of smile she hadn't given me in months. I didn't ask who it was. I didn't need to. A month later, her sister Lily came to visit. Lily had always been the opposite of Samantha. Warm, open, the kind of person who filled a room with light. She'd just returned from studying abroad and wanted to surprise us. When she hugged me, she said gently, "Wow, Ethan, you look tired. Everything okay?" I forced a smile. "You know, work, life." She didn't push, but I could tell she saw through it. That evening, Samantha got caught up again, so Lily and I had dinner alone. I told stories, half-truths mostly, avoiding the parts that hurt. But Lily could read between the lines. "I can tell something's wrong," she said softly. "You two used to be inseparable." I looked down. "Yeah, used to be." The next morning, I walked into the living room and froze. Lily was standing by the window, sunlight pouring over her, wearing the necklace, the same gold pendant I'd given Samantha. My throat tightened. "Where did you get that?" She turned, surprised. "Oh, this? Sam gave it to me yesterday. Said it didn't really suit her." It took me a second to find my voice. "Did she say where she got it?" Lily frowned. "Yeah, she said it was from a co-worker. Some guy named Andrew, I think. Said he has great taste." Andrew. The name hit like a blade. I'd seen it before, flashing across her phone screen a few nights earlier, right next to a heart emoji. I told myself it was innocent, but now I knew better. I excused myself, went upstairs, and sat on the edge of our bed. Her clothes hung neatly in the closet, spaced perfectly apart, like nothing in her world was out of order. But everything was. She hadn't just ignored my gift, she'd given it away. Lied about it. Lied to her sister. Lied to me. And in that single lie, everything I'd been afraid to admit finally made sense. That night, I waited. When she came home, she was laughing into her phone. She froze when she saw me standing in the kitchen. "Hey," she said cautiously, hanging up. "You're up late." "Yeah, couldn't sleep." Her eyes flicked toward the counter where the necklace box used to sit. I saw it then, the flicker of guilt. "I saw Lily today," I said quietly. She tensed. "Oh, how is she?" "She's good," I replied. "She loved the necklace." Her expression faltered. "Ethan, she told me you said it was from Andrew. The silence that followed was heavier than anything I'd ever felt. "Ethan," she began, voice trembling. "I can explain." "Don't," I said sharply. "Don't insult me with another lie." Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. I laughed bitterly. "You know, I spent hours picking that out for you. Thought maybe you'd remember what we used to be, but I guess I was too late. Someone else already was buying you gifts." Tears welled in her eyes. "It wasn't like that." "Then what was it, Sam?" "Because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like that." She looked at me, really looked, for the first time in months. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she whispered. "But you did." I turned away, swallowing the lump in my throat. "You didn't even look at it, Sam. You ignored it. You ignored me. Like I was just background noise." She started crying softly. "I was lost, Ethan. We were falling apart, and he was just someone who listened. It wasn't supposed to happen." I nodded slowly. "But it did." We didn't argue after that. There was nothing left to fight for. That night, she slept in the guest room. I sat by the window and watched the darkness fade into dawn, feeling emptier than I'd ever felt. When I woke the next morning, she was gone. There was a note on the counter. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed to be honest, with you and with myself. I'll stay at my sister's for now." Irony is cruel sometimes. Later that day, Lily came by to return the necklace. She placed it in my hand and said quietly she broke down this morning. Said she finally realized what it feels like to lose someone who actually loved her. I stared at the pendant in my palm, the metal cold, heavy, final. "She didn't just lose someone," I said. "She threw him away." Weeks passed. The house grew quieter. I threw myself into work, trying to outrun the ache. Sometimes I'd catch myself staring at the necklace, wondering if love always fades this way. Not with a fight, but with silence, indifference, and one careless lie too many. One evening, I met Lily for coffee. "She's been asking about you," Lily said gently. "She regrets everything." I smiled faintly. "Regret doesn't change what she did." "No," Lily said softly, "but maybe it changes who she becomes after." I looked at her, really looked, at the warmth in her eyes, the honesty. She reminded me of everything Samantha used to be. I exhaled slowly. I don't think I can ever go back to who I was. "Maybe that's not a bad thing," Lily said. Months later, I packed up the last of Samantha's things. The necklace was the final piece left on the table. I stared at it for a long time, then walked outside. The evening air was crisp, the sky soft with dusk. I placed the necklace on a railing. "You had your chance," I whispered. Then I let it fall. It hit the ground with a faint metallic clink, small, insignificant. But to me, it was final. That night, I slept peacefully for the first time in a year. Because some memories aren't meant to be worn around your neck. Some are meant to be left behind.